In a world where...
Is this thing on?
Barely.
This episode of the Just John podcast is brought to you by the random fact that the saying "it's so cold it can freeze the balls off a brass monkey" came from when they had old cannons like the ones used in the Civil War. The cannonballs were stacked in a pyramid called a brass monkey, and when it got extremely cold outside, the balls would crack and break off. And two of the most amazing patrons on the planet. Find out how you can become a patron of the show by heading on over to justjohnpodcast.com/support. What up, homies? I'm your host, John Medina, and this, my fine ladies and gentlemen, is the Just John podcast, episode 37 for the week of May 7th. Today on the show, Game of Thrones laptop, 50 nerds of gray, unskippable ads, and more.
Hey for iPad search, hey for iPod search, hey for cell phone search, hey for laptop search, hey for tablet search, hey for 3G, 4G, ready.
Game of Thrones laptop. In the past 7 years, one of the biggest cultural things that the nerddom has experienced, besides superhero movies and Star Wars, is Game of Thrones. It's something that even the people that wouldn't necessarily consider themselves nerdy can get into because it's freaking awesome. And one of the biggest characters in the Game of Thrones series on the TV show is Arya Stark. Well, Maisie Williams, the girl that plays her, when she first auditioned for Game of Thrones, she was 12 years old. In a recent interview with The Guardian, Williams reflects on the unusual past that brought her into one of television's most violent and mature dramas. I mean, a 12-year-old kid on the set of Game of Thrones. Can you even imagine? But the most charming part of this story is why she auditioned for the role that would make her famous and that I'm sure is going to lead into an amazing career for this young actress. Unfamiliar with Hollywood, she hoped the gig would get her enough cash to just simply buy a new laptop. She said it was the thing that she was really obsessed about, and she just wanted to earn enough money to buy herself a laptop. Her stepdad just looked at her and said, "I think there'll be enough for a couple laptops, Maisie." Can you imagine, you're 12, right? We all just want that one thing when we're 12. For me, it was a Game Boy. It was that one thing that I just didn't think I could live without. That one thing that would bring me into some kind of status that I had made up in my head because it would be awesome. And for Maisie Williams, this was a laptop. Imagine being 12 years old in 2009, I guess. And, you're growing up in the middle of the age of the internet. My generation, the millennials, the dirty millennials as some call us, we grew up with the internet. We're the first generation to have computers and the internet from 5 years old on up through our current lifetime. But Maisie Williams' generation, the next generation under us, whatever they're called, I don't know, but they're dirtier than the millennials. But whatever that generation is called, they have grown up in the Web 2.0. They have grown up in being able to interact with the internet. And when you're 12, all you want to do is what you think is cool, right? Because that's what 12-year-olds do. And so she auditioned for a TV show to earn enough money to buy herself a laptop. And she's now famous on a freaking amazing show, and she's gonna get an amazing career out of it. And what kind of story is that to tell your grandkids? When you're 90, you're like, oh yeah, I auditioned for this show because I just wanted to buy a laptop. And they're gonna be like, so retro, grandma, a laptop, ha ha ha.
Because I'm gonna put my nutsack on your drum set.
50 Nerds of Grey is one of the most amazing things that I have found in the past few weeks on the internet. So I was derping around one day on the internet, just, doing what I do, just trolling around, looking for interesting things, and I found something called 50 Nerds of Grey, and it is a Twitter account in which a nerd rewrites 50 Shades of Grey, and I've got to say that it is legitimately better than the movie 50 Shades of Grey. I think it would be really interesting to see a scary movie style, not another teen movie style parody rendition of 50 Shades of Grey using the ideas from this Twitter handle at 50 Nerds of Grey, because I really think it would be amazing. And I'm going to read some of these tweets to you guys so that you can appreciate all that is 50 Nerds of Grey. "I've been a very bad girl," she said, biting her lip. "I need to be punished." "Very well," he said, and installed Windows 10 on her laptop. "How do you feel about chains?" she whispered, stroking his chest. He gulped. "I quite like Pizza Hut, but I'm not so keen on McDonald's." "Don't hold back," she said. "I like it rough." "Okay," he said, and put on the extended version of Phantom of the Menace with director's commentary. Let's play doctors," she whispered seductively. "All right," he said. "You be Doctor Who, and I'll be Doctor Strange." They tried it standing up, sitting down, and bent over the kitchen table, but it was no good. They just couldn't get a decent Wi-Fi signal. "So," she said, entering his bedroom, "this is where the magic happens." "Oh yes," he smiled, putting on his Harry Potter glasses and cloak. "Harder," she screamed, "harder." "All right," he said. "What's the square root of 9 times 12 divided by 6.3 recurring?" "It's so long," she squealed. "I don't think it'll fit." "Sorry," he said. "It isn't easy saying what you want in 140 characters. "Smack that bottom," she cried, bending over the table. "Smack it hard." "I am," he said, "but the ketchup just won't come out." She screamed as he leaned over and whispered in her ear, "ASDFG HJKL UIOP. She loved it when he talked QWERTY. She writhed on the floor, squealing at the extreme pain he had inflicted on her. "I thought you said you'd put all your Lego bricks away." These are just a taste of this amazing Twitter account, 50 Nerds of Grey, at 50 Nerds of Grey. And I really, truly love the entertaining wit that is provided in these tweets. It's tons and tons of entertainment. And I mean, I spent probably a solid 20 minutes just scrolling through these tweets, laughing my butt off because it was so freaking funny. And like I said before, I think it would be a really, really clever parody movie to make, and I would definitely go see it, and I would have to say that I would probably like it more than 50 Shades of Grey.
This is against my civil rights.
Unskippable YouTube ads. YouTube is adding a new option to help advertisers get their message to consumers, but in a much shorter amount of time than normal. Last week, the company announced that beginning next month, so this month I guess, it'll offer 6-second bumper ads that are designed to be a better companion to the shorter video clip that millions of YouTubers are watching on smartphones. And that's there's something to be said for that, because you jump on your phone or on your computer to watch a 30-second YouTube clip and you get stuck with a 2-minute advertisement and you're like, really? 2-minute advertisement on a 30-second clip? That's freaking ridiculous. Actually, the other day, I was looking around on YouTube and I clicked on a video that may have been like a minute and a half long, and a 40-minute commercial came up. I don't even know. I can't remember what it was for. Of course, it had the skip option, so I skipped it. But 40-minute ad. What is life if you have a 40-minute ad? The company justifies the short ads, which cannot be skipped, by pointing to research showing that 50% of 18 to 49-year-olds turn to mobile as their first option for consuming video. And keep in mind that a ton of that is music. YouTube's new bumpers don't replace other ad formats, it's just being added as another choice. YouTube will keep expanding its advertising options so that they're always uniquely adapted to the way people watch video now and in the future. I'm pretty sure that I've experienced 5-second unskippable, or 5, 9, 10, I don't know, around there, like between 5 and 10-second unskippable YouTube ads before, and maybe I'm just making this up in my head and this isn't the reality that I've lived in, but I swear there have been ads where I have not been able to skip them because they're so short that they're just not skippable. But I have a theory as to why they're adding these 6-second unskippable ads. So the inherent problem of a company like YouTube that since the beginning of its time has been free. People go to it and they watch it and they understand that there's advertisements because that's what keeps it free. Then YouTube decides that they want to have a more steady stream of income. So they devise YouTube Red, which does add a bunch of fantastic features, don't get me wrong. You get access to Google Play Music. You get no ads, ad-free experience on YouTube. You can download YouTube videos to watch later offline. And what everybody's been screaming about for years, you can listen to YouTube videos with your phone locked. So YouTube Red has a bunch of different things that make it worth the $9.99 a month for the subscription, but ad-free. So every person that has YouTube Red, whether they have the family subscription or the regular single subscription, does not have to experience any ads on YouTube. And what does that do? That reduces their ad revenue. So they're realizing, yes, we've got a full revenue stream coming in because of the YouTube Red subscriptions, but for all of those people, we're losing out on the ad revenue that they were bringing in. Now, it's safe to assume that they're still making more money on the YouTube Red subscriptions than they were on the ad revenue, but it's still kind of a bummer because their ad revenue is most likely declining. So what do? Offer companies the ability to make a 6-second unskippable ad that guarantees the user is going to see it unless they exit out of the page. And what does that mean? That means that YouTube can charge the advertisers more money because it's a guaranteed view. So they're basically just trying to supplement the decline in ad revenue by creating advertisements that you can't skip. And I'm sure that some of their business strategy with this is to still move some people over to YouTube Red, but for those consumers like me that are probably not going to do it anytime soon, they're going to be able to milk more money out of us even without having the YouTube Red subscription. I can understand the business strategy behind it, so I can't really smash on it too much, but it's still a little frustrating.
What year is it?
All right, so we're about halfway through the show, which means it's time to play some music. If you are, or if you know an underground artist that you would like to have featured on the show, submit your suggestions at justjohnpodcast.com/song. The song that I'm playing today is called Carry On, and it is by Rebecca Cullen.
I'll remind you every day.
Again, that song was called Carry On by Rebecca Cullen, and as is usual, if you are interested in checking out more of her stuff, you can find links to all her various websites in the show notes below.
Hey, can I have a McRib meal? Large size with the Dr. Pepper.
A man has become famous by live tweeting his first hockey experience. Tony Holmes is known as a big-time baseball and football fan, but he's the first to admit that hockey has never been on his radar. In fact, up until last Monday night, he had never even watched a game on TV. That night, while flipping through channels, Holmes happened upon a Blues Chicago Blackhawks game and had his mind blown. Luckily for us, he tweeted his thoughts to the world as he viewed a sport he did not understand, but clearly he enjoyed it. Some of his tweets were, "Yo, dead ass, this is the first time I've ever watched hockey and this shit has been lit for these first 45 seconds. All I know is I'm about to watch the Mighty Ducks and have superior knowledge on hockey now." White people been hiding hockey from us for years, bruh. Holmes thought he was just making some cheeky comments to his followers, which is what Twitter's for, right? That's what we all do. But apparently, there's a wide audience for sassy newcomers tweeting their hockey confusion, because after the game, his Twitter account exploded from 1,600 followers to more than 61,000 followers. It didn't take long for the St. Louis Blues themselves to take notice. The team invited Holmes to attend Game 3 of the playoffs live, and of course, he accepted. After that, it didn't take long for the media to come calling. "It's been crazy," Holmes said during an appearance on Good Morning America. "I didn't think it'd be this big about me just tweeting about a hockey game." Hockey Hall of Famer Brett Hull even sent the new hockey fan a personal message, letting Holmes know that he was happy he had finally jumped on the Blues bandwagon. It's amazing that you can get so lucky that just by tweeting about watching a game of a sport you've never watched before, you can basically become internet famous enough to be on Good Morning America, for Pete's sake. Or I guess I should say for Tony's sake, right? I know, I'm clever. Don't judge me. I make bad jokes sometimes. Who doesn't? Anyway, this is cool for this guy. I mean, he was just kind of goofing around, trolling around, derping around like I do all the time on the internet, and was tweeting about a hockey game you'd never seen, and now he's been on national television, and heck, he might even get a good job out of it. So I'm not dogging on him for getting famous because of doing something on the internet, because, I mean, that's kind of the dream for a lot of people. But my only concern about this is that we are going to see all the copycats now. We're going to see people trying to tweet about all kinds of stuff, acting like they've never seen it, never heard of it, or whatever, just to try to, 1, get famous, and 2, get free shit. It's one of those things where, okay, it's been done once, it really can't happen again for quite a while, or else it's just, that's exactly what you look like. You look like a copycat. Just like the people I talked about it a couple episodes back with the Adidas jacket, trying to say, what color is this jacket? Because they were just trying to jump on the fame of the what color is this dress and blow up the internet again. And while I did talk about it on my podcast and, you know, they got quite a bit of fame over it, it didn't blow up as big as the original because people knew that they were just copycatting. So shout out to this guy, but I don't want to deal with everybody trying to do this all of a sudden now, because to be honest, I'm not sure that I've ever watched a hockey game on TV apart from the Mighty Ducks. I have never really watched golf. I've watched, you know, baseball, basketball, football, soccer. I've seen some NASCAR races, but there are some sports that I have not seen. But you don't see me out here watching one, trying to live tweet it and be all clever just to get famous like this guy did, because it's not going to work. He was the first one, and not to say he will be the last, but it's not going to work as effectively for anybody within the next few years.
History became legend. Legend became myth. And for 2,500 years, the ring passed out of all knowledge.
The Punisher. After months of rumors, it has been reported that Marvel has just ordered a new series starring the gun-toting vigilante first introduced in Daredevil Season 2. And let me just say that he is good. I wasn't a big fan of John Barenthal in the first, 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, or first season, whatever. I don't even remember how long he was in it. I was just never a fan of his character. I know that the sign of a good actor is if they're a bad guy, you truly do not like them. And I have to give it to John Barenthal. That probably signaled him as a good actor, because I did not like him based strictly off of his Walking Dead character. But I went into Daredevil Season 2 knowing that most of the reason why I didn't like him is because of his character, and I have garnered a new respect for him. I thought he did an amazing job, and I think that he really honed in on the essence that is the Punisher. John Barenthal is set to reprise the role of Frank Castle. Writer and producer Stephen Lightfoot will serve as the showrunner. The Punisher, which will follow Frank Castle's quest for bloody justice in Hell's Kitchen, will be the 6th series in Marvel's stable of Netflix shows. It joins Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and The Defenders on the streaming network. The decision to launch the new series with The Punisher makes sense. Apart from both Daredevil and Jessica Jones receiving strong reviews from critics in the last year, Barenthal's performance as Frank Castle was praised by critics for its rawness. It's obvious, not obvious, but I'm saying it's obvious that Punisher is going to be part of the Defenders. Obviously, they're getting the Defenders together with all of these different shows, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, so that's what they're building. I think that with the Punisher, it could have went 2 ways. It could have been something that they weren't sure that he could carry his own show and that people would be interested in watching 13 episodes of just the Punisher. So they threw him into Daredevil to test the waters. It worked out, so they ordered a series. If it didn't work out, they could still put him in the Defenders. Didn't have to order a series, say, yeah, we've introduced him. He's a character. He was in Daredevil Season 2. Probably, so they didn't have to, they did it so that they didn't have to guarantee him a TV show. But if it was going to work out, they do it because it makes money. But I want to toss around some ideas next. So what is the next Marvel property that is going to go to Netflix? We know they're not going to do any of the mainstream, less violent, happy-go-lucky shows because they can do that on their other stations. They've got stuff going on with ABC. They've got stuff getting ready to go to, not ABC Family, what was the new station called? Freeform. They've got stuff going on with Freeform. And so they don't really need to do any of the things that could be on those channels on Netflix necessarily. But I have a couple theories. I think that 2 of the most likely options to bring onto the Netflix scene are going to be Blade. And I think that Blade would do very well. I think that they could go really far with Blade. I mean, vampire TV shows and movies and blah, blah, blah have just been blowing up, and they're still going. I mean, you had True Blood, you've got Vampire Diaries, and whatever else they've got. I'm sure there's plenty of other vampire shows. I think The Originals is a vampire show. So they've got all these different vampire shows, and I think that a Blade TV show would work out very well, and I think that Netflix would be the perfect place to do it. Another option that I think would work out pretty well is Ghost Rider. I think that they could do a lot with a Ghost Rider TV show, and I think that Netflix would be the perfect place. If they didn't put it on Netflix, the next best place would be a channel that's not an option for them, because I think that Ghost Rider could end up being a good CW show. But again, like I said, that's not an option for them. So Netflix it is, I think. So those are my 2 big predictions. Ghost Rider and Blade will be the next Marvel TV shows that appear on Netflix. You guys and gals, let me know your thoughts. Tweet me at JohnnyM_Revo or comment on Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast and let me know what your predictions are for the next Netflix Marvel TV show.
I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is on its way, y'all. We got our first look into the new Call of Duty subtitled Infinite Warfare this last week. Now we have some more details on the first-person shooter that will take you off Earth and out into the far reaches of our solar system. Infinity Ward is developing this game, and it promises a futuristic story that casts players as Captain Reyes, a Tier 1 special operations pilot who pilots one of Earth's last remaining warships, basically telling us that this game is going to be larger than the previous games because it's not going to be locked into Earth. Rays will be battling the forces of the Settlement Defense Front, an insurgency that seceded from the suitably sci-fi sounding United Nations Space Alliance over issues of Earth's colonies. Basic outline of the story is that our home planet has been stripped of its resources, and we don't know what year it is, leading humans to rely on colony production. But this SDF, as they're called, want to take the goodies for themselves, which starts a war, because after all, most wars are about people trying to steal other people's stuff. Infinity Ward has said that battles will be fought both on the ground and up in space, putting players at the controls of jet fighters and spaceships with few visible load times, whatever that means. The huge warship that you'll be piloting is called the Retribution, which will also serve as your home. In addition to the campaign mode, Infinite Warfare will ship with multiplayer and co-op zombie modes. This is the first Infinity Ward version of Call of Duty that has had zombies, and zombies is one of my favorite parts of the Call of Duty games. Now, one of my biggest problems with Call of Duty is my anger. I get so mad when I play that game because I'm not the best at video games, and there are people on that game that are just so much better than me, and I die like 97 times and kill 4 people, and I just get so mad. So I can't play it for a long time. Like, I can't play it for a long amount of time, and I can't play it every day, or I just get too angry, which is probably why I'm not that good, because I can't play it every day and get really good at it. But maybe I'll try with this game. I think that this last Call of Duty game, whatever, it was kind of cool, but it really didn't draw me in. But I think this one's going to draw me in because space. That alone, if it's in space, I'm automatically trying to play it because I love space. So we'll see how it's going to work out. I think that I like that all of these war games and first-person shooters and stuff are starting to incorporate planes and spaceships and fighting in the air, dogfight style, because I've always loved that, but they've never had that option in the games really before. I mean, yeah, you can kind of shoot from it in shoot from the helicopter or whatever in certain missions, or kind of fly it if you have a care package or something like that. But that's never been the main mode of play in any of the different maps on the game. And we saw it on Star Wars Battlefront, and it worked fantastic, and I love it. And so I'm glad that they're incorporating it into Call of Duty, and I think it'll be an added feature to the game. And of course, it comes out November 4th, which is pretty typical for Call of Duty. Always comes out in November.
The Force will be with you, always.
Alrighty, well, we're about to wrap the show up, but before we do that, I do want to do an app review. The app that I'm going to review today is called Google Opinion Rewards, and this app was suggested to me by Nick Levin. This app is freaking fantastic, and sorry iPhone users out there, this is an Android-only app. So you install the app, it's called Google Opinion Rewards, and it is by Google, and you sign in with your Gmail account. If you got multiple Gmail accounts, of course, you just pick which one you want to sign in with, and they ask you a couple setup questions, age, if you want to say, gender, different things like that, and basically what it does is it uses your location and some of the data mining that it does on your phone, search history, and things like that to ask you survey questions. Now, these surveys, I've never seen one that was over like 4 or 5 questions, and it takes literally 30 seconds, if that, to do one of the surveys. And every time you do a survey, you get a certain amount of Google Play Store credit, and then you can use that credit in the Google Play Store to buy anything you want: movies, TV shows, music, apps, in-app purchases, whatever you want to do, you can do it with those Google Play credits. It's a really sleek app. It's pretty straightforward. I don't even open the app that often. It just notifies you in your notifications bar when a survey is ready. You take the survey, you get your points, you go look at you get your money, you go look at your money, and then you can spend it. The first survey that I filled out, which was immediately when I set up the app, it gave me $1. Every other one since then has been around the anywhere from 10 cents to 30 cents. I've had the app for about 2 weeks and I'm already at $4.09 in Google Play credit. So maybe in another 10 months, I'll have enough Google Play credit to buy my digital copy of all of the Star Wars movies, which is what I'm saving up for. Anyway, it's a really good app, and it's pretty straightforward, it's honest, and it's by Google, so you know you're actually going to get your money. It's not one of those, like, get all these points and then cash them in for a $5 Amazon card after 13 years of using the app. So go download it, it doesn't take any time, set it up, and start earning some free Google Play credit and get you some awesome movies or whatever you want to use it on. If you enjoyed the show, please show me some love by liking, thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, rating, reviewing, retweeting, or whatever it is that's used to symbolize the love of the show and the platform you're using to view it. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnnyM_Revo and at Facebook.com/JustJohnPodcast. You can find the show in its entirety at JustJohnPodcast.com, and you can listen to the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, or some other shit. You can email me at JustJohnPodcast@gmail.com, and remember, without you, I'm just some dude talking to himself on the internet. Until next time, peace out, fam.